There we go. The red clock ticks from 1 to however long we are live this evening in another Avocado partner chat. Now, this is full prep work because some of us arrived with a few seconds to spare this evening, but we obviously do know what we're going to talk about because we have a little bit of a conversation about it the week leading up. So I'm just going to let a few people arrive within the chat. But where are we today? We're on Andrew's page, Karl's page, Ellen and Sanjay's. We're on the Avocado page. We're on YouTube. We're on LinkedIn today as well. So we're kind of everywhere. We are multi-channel posting today. So let me just fire some comments at people so they know. If you have a question, fire it at us. Boom. There we go. Let's send that to all people. So, Andrew, how you doing, bud? Good week so far?
Good. Yeah, really good week. It's been a nice balance between avocado and time at home, which has been filled with sanding and painting door frames, which is good fun. One door frame's enough. I'll go back onto selling houses now.
Good. Love that stuff. Ellen, how's things?
All good. Been busy. Yeah, a couple of new houses on the market today. Yeah, cannot complain. So I was a bit late.
We're pink hoodie team today.
We've done the blue and now we're in the pink.
Karl, how about you? Got a completion coming in tomorrow. Keys got dropped into HQ today, which is always good.
Yep, no, very exciting. Another one, hopefully, for the end of the month as well. So now that my son settled in at school, all of that's over. So, yeah, it's going out, getting the next lot of houses that we've got 2 completing this month. So, yeah, no, it's exciting.
Good stuff. Well, we'll just do a quick sound check. So if anyone's watching out there in the ether at the moment now, if you don't mind just giving us a thumbs up to let us know that you are able to hear us okay, that would be awesome. Or just in the comments, just go all clear, sound is good, just double checking because obviously we're streaming to quite a few different locations today. So if you could do that, that would be awesome. So really the theme of this conversation that we're going to do this evening is around not just first-time buyers, but I guess how the mortgage and the first-time buyer market, the property market has just unfolded, making it really challenging for people to get on the property ladder, let's say before they turn 30. So we've got one person, all clear, fantastic. Appreciate the thumbs up. Yeah, if you're watching, just give us a thumbs up so we know you can hear us. That's awesome. So just a couple of stats before we go around the Zoom room, or in this case, the stream room. 34 years old is now the average age of a first-time buyer in the UK. In 2007, it was 28. So 6 years up compared to the full kind of data from last year. 26 in 1997. So 34 years old is the average age of the first-time buyers. Now, a lot of people would and engage with this if you're watching, because it's a topical convo this, but a lot of people would potentially say that's because house prices have rocketed, and a lot of people say it's very difficult for first-time buyers now to get on the ladder. If you agree with that, throw it in the comments, let us know. I want to talk about education a little bit later on from a property perspective, and I know that's something, Andrew, that kind of you're quite passionate about as well. But what's your kind of overall view on that? Why do we think the first-time buyer age is increasing so drastically in the UK?
I think priorities lie elsewhere, potentially. I remember when I bought my first house, I was incredibly focused on it, that I even shut off like friendship groups because I couldn't afford to go out with them because my priority was to buy a house. And I wonder now, you know, I look at my younger brother, for example, he's all about the nicer car and the clothes and the watches and things like that, which I never had an interest in. Everything was ploughed into the savings account. And I see his friends and they're all, you know, competing and outdoing each other. And I just wonder if lifestyles have changed and everyone realizes perhaps it's a step too far to buy a house at sub 30, that they just don't bother trying. Yeah,
quite possibly. Quite possibly could be a case of people spending their money in other areas. And one thing that I'm quite passionate to talk to people about, and maybe secondary schools and sixth forms and colleges and things like that is actually the logistics of how you buy a property. I don't know whether people really know that or whether they leave school thinking that way. I think people know how to buy a car. They know what they want to buy next. They know they're going to get a student loan if they go to uni, which they can spend in Wetherspoons or wherever the new version of Wetherspoons is these days. But do they know how to buy property? I don't know, Ellen. What do you think? I'm not sure if they do.
No, I think there's a lot of valuable just life skills that you leave school like without, it's so easy to get, along with this comment, actually, so easy to get credit, overdrafts, credit cards. Like, they don't teach you how to manage your money in any way. And I think that also it ties in with buying a house. I wonder if a lot of people go, well, house prices are so high, I'll never get a deposit for it. So what's the point of, starting trying to save? Yeah.
I wonder if it is a mindset thing and it is an education thing. And I'm meeting with a local school in 2 weeks to talk to the headmaster about it, because I'm keen to think if I had an hour with a load of 17 or 18-year-olds, they'll have a completely different outlook on how they leave sixth form or college, and where they spend their money and how important it is to save. But yeah, Karl, I guess I'll put you on the spot a little bit here, but 13 years ago, let's say 2007, 28 years old, you can buy a property is the average age. Now it's 34. Michael Robson's just chucked in there as well. You can now borrow 6 times your income for a mortgage, which you definitely couldn't do back then. But the average house price in 13 years, what do you reckon the change is? If we said around the home counties, it's something like 350 now. Back in 2007, what would be the expectations then, do you reckon, Karl?
Obviously, in the home county, it's going to be less. I mean, about 100 grand places, that you could have got for less. But I guess you've got to look at everything, haven't you, in terms of earnings, everything else that's happened in between. So that 100 grand, like Andrew says, gets swallowed up in the fact that it's far easier to now finance a car. It's far easier to go and get credit on pretty much everything that you couldn't really do as easily 10 years ago. So I think that 100 grand, etc., just gets absorbed in other areas.
Yeah, quite possibly. I think what's a big difference as well is you've now got 5% deposit mortgages, which you didn't have 18 months ago. So the landscape for a first-time buyer actually changes depending on what the banks do as well, which is a big impact to them. Mike's mentioned there about 6 times your income. So one thing that I think is also important to remember is a lot of people at 18 years old are not thinking about, I'm going to buy a house in 10 years' time, 15 years' time, and don't realise the impact that their finance history actually is going to have on their mortgage as well. And Andy was talking about purchasing certain things, but I just feel if people knew at that age that getting a store card or a credit card or, not paying a parking fine or whatever it may be has an impact in your mortgage credit rating, where you could end up paying double the mortgage or not even getting a mortgage. And also how that impacts the amount of finance you borrow. If you purchase a £30,000 car before you buy a house on finance, that 6 times your income is not 6 times your income, is your income less the 25 grand finance, then times 6. And these little things that people potentially don't know at that age would be important for them to know, I think. And if your parents out there and you're watching this now or later on, what do you think? Because it's interesting to know from the parents' perspective, if there was some sort of, not syllabus, but if there was some sort of jargon busting sheet and session that could be done in sixth form to help people understand that the parents could then fall back on and use and say, well, before you get that car, don't forget X. You might be the 34-year-old first-time buyer, the 42-year-old first-time buyer, or maybe the 28-year-old first-time buyer if you're a little bit more sensible with your money. Which is probably something that comes back on mindset. Before we get into it, though, got a shout out for our partner, Chris Gray, because he's 40 years old today.
Madness.
Who knew Chris was 40? Because he does not look 40, that man, does he? So Karl has promised us that he's going to sing Chris happy birthday.
We've been trying to wish him
No,
happy
no,
birthday
no,
on
sorry,
every.
It's not happening.
I'll put him right on the spot. But if you're watching, please give us a little love, like, comment. Happy birthday, Chris would be amazing in the comments. Anyone that's watching at the moment, just send him a little happy birthday, because 40 is a big one, right? Ellen, how was it when you hit yours?
Hey. I've got the big 3-0 next month.
The big 3-0 next month. Wow. I won't get into what you're planning to do, but yeah, that's another big one. Enjoyable times. So yeah, happy birthday, Chris. If you're watching, then it's your birthday, mate. Stop watching this and do something more fun. But happy birthday to you. So here we go. Look, happy birthday, Chris. A couple of people throwing in there, commenting, wish him happy birthday. He's a good guy, obviously dominating the property market now in Camberley and Frimley. So yeah, really good to see. Happy birthday. And people, they want to hear Karl sing. They've heard the rumour, because you got through quite a few rounds on X Factor once, didn't you, is what we heard.
I think you need to change the sources for your rumours.
Right, back to first-time buyers. So Ellen, if you were buying a property, first-time buyer, let's say you're 33, you're 34, or you're talking to an 18-year-old, deposit levels we spoke about are fluctuating and changing all the time. But the mortgage costs and the mortgage terms is something that not always do people truly understand. So let's just kind of digest that. You get a mortgage offer, and you've got options of having 2, 3, or 5 year fix, and the term 25, 30, or 35. Just give an explanation if you're okay with it. 2-year fixed, 30-year term mortgage. What does that mean to the person that gets that finance?
Well, I think the fixed term is obviously how long you're going to lock that rate in for. And it really depends on whether they see their first place as their 5-year plan, 10-year plan, 2-year plan, and what rate they're able to lock in. So that's going to have an impact there as to what they do. And then in terms of mortgage term, it depends kind of the age of the person buying as well, and what their goals are. Is the end goal to get on the property ladder, overpay your mortgage and get it gone quickly so that you can at some point hopefully live mortgage free? Or is it more the case of you want to climb that housing ladder, over a longer term, and build up your equity that way? So
yeah,
I've got those options.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think people don't quite realise that the 2-year fixed is fixed for the rate. After that, you've got 28 years remaining, and you've got to think about the plan of how you repay it. So if you do have that scenario, the rates could change. So what's important, Karl, is to probably have the right advice. We talk about this a lot. Don't do these things on your own. Don't go and Google things, especially as first-time buyers doing online mortgages. It's mental if you start doing that. But financial advice, brokers will give you a bit of a read on potentially, no guarantee, what the interest rates might do over the next 5 years. Yeah. And then I guess you base your decision a little bit on that. Would you say, Karl, is probably sensible, the broker's advice?
Yeah, no, absolutely, 100%. And I would always recommend, people, like you say, go for a broker. Because, that advice, not only does it make you in a better position when you're buying, having everything lined up, ready to go, but potentially saving you money long term by getting the best deal. So, 100%. Listen to the broker, do what they say, providing they are a good one, of course. So one of ours would be recommended. Yeah,
one of our contacts. We've got great power teams that we work with, solicitors, absolutely, brokers, surveyors. So we're always happy to recommend. There's nothing in-house. They're all just people that are tried, tested, that most of us do our own mortgages through. So always happy to put people in contact. And just for jargon busting, because sometimes people don't quite understand the difference between leasehold and freehold, Andy, especially for the first-time buyers over there, is probably not even something that's been discussed. Just give a summary of the basic level differences between freehold and leasehold for someone.
The freehold is you in theory own the whole entire property and the land. Leasehold is you own the physical property, but not potentially the land that it's on. And with that comes charges. And going back to the mortgage things, people budget off a mortgage and then they buy a leasehold property that's £250, £300 a month in charges, and they haven't factored that into their finances because it's only £300, blah, blah, blah. But that adds up. But yeah, in theory, in a nutshell, freehold is all yours. Leasehold is someone else's partially.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. And just getting in the private notes here, that if we can get up to 12 likes across all the page while we're live, Ellen said she's happy to sing Chris happy birthday. So, if you're watching, get those likes up. We get into double figures and we get ourselves a sing song. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's talk about Q4. So we are 23rd of September, a week or so left of this month. The stamp duty holiday phase 2 obviously comes to an end this month. It looks like it's going to be quite a busy month of completions in September, but not the craziness that we experienced in the first phase, which is great. So hopefully people get moving. What's going to happen in Q4? What's the expectations of people around the room? Ellen, if I come to you first, what do you think is going to happen between now and the end of the year? More houses, less houses, more buyers, less buyers, change in interest rates? I don't know why I'm doing this, but what do you think?
Why not? Interest rates. I mean, interest rates it's relentlessly coming down. Halifax went up 0.1%, and I thought that might start a trend, but everyone's still battling to go down. And I did a chat the other week with Partners Financial Services, and they made a very valid point that much like many kind of big corporations, banks have end of year targets to hit as well. So they are battling each other for buyers. So I think rates are going to carry on going down. And I think we'll see the usual sort of drop off in activity as it comes to Christmas, especially considering last year, no one got a Christmas with their family. So I think there's going to be a lot more focus on that in kind of December, especially the latter half. Mm-hmm. But between now and then, summer's out the way, kids are back at school. That usual kind of September, October rush seems to be with us once again.
And the likes are climbing now, Ellen, as well. So keep liking when double figures, and Ellen's singing. No, I totally agree. It will be interesting to see how it unfolds throughout the rest of this month. I saw that there's now obviously that 60% loan to value deal at 0.79%, which that's crazy. Under 0.8% for an interest rate, it's basically free money. And for people that are getting to that remortgage level and thinking about finance and stuff like that, if you've got car finances or credit cards, your mortgage is your cheapest loan. So if you're looking at a bit of budgeting at the moment and you're thinking, can we afford to move? But you've got a couple of car finances and potentially a credit card, look at potentially consolidating those finances when you do take the mortgage, because if you knock those out, you might find that all of a sudden that £600-700 worth of finance is actually 180 quid or something around those lines. So you could effectively upsize property and pay the same amount of money month by month, which is amazing. You add 100 grand to your house and you're paying the same bills. Everyone's a win. So yeah, good stuff. Karl, what about you? What's your expectations? Let's say 3 to 6 months. What do you think is going to happen in the market? You're a man of much wisdom. Share it with us.
I mean, Ellen answered it pretty much identical to how I think it's going to be quite steady and have a strong sort of, we've seen already, more valuation requests coming in, more people getting in touch. So that beginning of the kids have gone back to school, that little bit of a hype up until Christmas where obviously I expect it to dip down again. And then hopefully a very busy sort of January, February of completions. But yeah, I think pretty much as Ellen said, I think we're going to have a real sort of steady, strong, September, October, and then look at it sort of dipping naturally for December before it picks back up again.
Andy, anything to say different on any of those? Any expectation changes? What do you think will happen with the 5% options? Do you think that's going to be a thing now? 5% deposit, you could buy a house for the next couple of years?
Potentially. I mean, I don't know how you guys have experienced it. I've not seen that many buyers using it. Obviously, there's still time and people might take them up on it, but personally, I've not seen that volume of first-time buyers with a small deposit even out in the marketplace at all. But I think the market will continue as it is, like the other two have said, and I'll just echo it. You know, this second phase of stamp duty, personally, I've not really spoken a great deal about. I don't think people are in that rush as such. I think that wave is gone. Obviously, there's a deadline of people moving towards it, but it's not as important as it was in that first one, where people were falling over themselves to hit the deadline. This one's sort of just a bit, if I get it, great. If I don't, I don't. So yeah, echo what they've said. Quiet Christmas, but a steady incline up until December.
Yeah, no, interesting stuff. Yeah, if anyone's got a question around that, and if anyone's looking to buy or sell at the moment and they're thinking right time, wrong time, should I do this, should I upsize, downsize, chuck it in the comments. Even if we're not live, you're watching this as a recording later on, just chuck it in there. We'll pick it up on whatever page you're commenting on. Any of us will pick it up and we'll answer it, or you can drop us a DM if you want to keep it private. Absolutely fine with that. Any special properties that you want to plug while we're live in your areas that are up and coming? Ellen's gleaming with a smile there. Is because the likes are increasing and she's close to singing. So keep them coming in. Is there any
way to lose followers?
Engagement goes down.
Yeah.
Anything special up and coming in the kind of Bracknell area?
Yeah, we've just had something really special come on actually in the Warren in Bracknell. It's a 4-bed detached with a garage and parking. It's a little bit of updating, but there's no onward chain. It's coming at a really good price of 520,000 as well. So we did a beat the portals on that today. That will be live come the weekend. So yeah, that's a really exciting one for people to they're interested, get in touch.
4-bed detached, family home, needs a little bit of love inside, no onward chain in Bracknell. Perfect. Gold dust at the moment. So yeah, absolutely. Andrew, anything special on the market? A little bit quirky, a little bit different, or coming to the market?
Yeah, I mean that 3-bed end of terrace in sort of Hollyport Maidenhead Way. Very, very tricky one to market the full potential of it. But any investors with the building side interested, that's a 3-bed end of terrace on a large sort of cornerish plot with a massive garden. They had planning permission before for a side extension, which has since expired. But obviously, in theory, you could get it again. They also had the same application for a whole new 3-bed property to be built there. There's parking at the rear. You could do a rear, side, double extension, or a whole other property. So anybody that's in that sort of game, this is definitely a huge opportunity and crying out for the right buyer.
Wow. Yeah, there's 2 cracking properties there. 3-bed detached on the side, or 3-bed house on the side of the plot. I mean, it's gold dust for anyone, builder, anyone in that trade that's thinking, buy that property. Effectively, you could rent 2 out for kind of the price of 1. Yeah, refinance, go again, as they say. Karl, anything on the bubble in your neck of the woods? I know you've got properties all over the place completing. So anywhere in the UK that you've got something special going on, let us know.
Yes, so there's something really nice coming on towards Winkfield, which is exciting. Not too far away from us over in Langley. So that's a great 3-bedroom masonette that's coming on. So tennis courts, a little bit of luxury added in there. So no, that's really exciting. And then, yeah, lots of vows recently. So hopefully we should have a nice variety from buy-to-lets and, some family homes and that closer into Langley as well coming on.
What's the name of the girl that just won the US Open? It escapes me. Radicana, something like that.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, she's got enough money to be a first-time buyer, and she needs tennis court.
Could
Drop
be
her a DM.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Send her a website link. You never know. That's how my brain works, you see. I'll find a buyer, even if they're not on the database. Right, so quick plug for Tristan. Karl, you need to just sit up a little bit or we're going to lose you. There you go. It's a long one. So Tristan, if you are a landlord, if you're a property investor, if you want to be a property investor, or you're just interested in property investment, go into Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and search for The Landlord page. It says what it is on the tin. The podcast is dropping next month. 6 episodes already recorded. We've managed to get an accountant on camera talking about all things finance and accountancy. We've managed to get a litigation and dispute lawyer on camera talking some advice about that for landlords and for tenants in reality as well. We've got commercial finance specialist on there, buy-to-let specialist on there. We've got someone who actually works on behalf of Arla as well that's managed to come on camera. We've got our very own Mike Robson, who 16, 18 years worth of advising investors and reviewing their portfolios and making sure that their goals are hit and their efficiency of their portfolio is ticked as well. So we've got some awesome guests. There's one I'm forgetting as well. Another good one too. So yeah, loads of them. Loads of good ones. Someone's just randomly gone, Emma.
That was for the tennis player.
Emma Ranicada. Well done, Sean. Congratulations on winning an Alan the Avocado. It will be in the post to you. Anything else that anyone wants to discuss? Karl, I'm going to come to you. Anything that you need to tell the audience? Anything that you've got an input on? Obviously, we're discussing first-time buyers a lot today, and you know, children and education and things like that. But from your perspective, anything in any area of the property market you want to share with the world?
No, I mean, going back briefly to what we spoke about earlier in terms of, you know, people that are buying later on in life, do you reckon that had what impact the rental market has? Do you think it's easier now for people to rent? Do you reckon there's more choice and that's why people are kind of happier to rent longer? And is that pushing your first time buyers into buying later?
Probably a combination, but there definitely is a case that people much later on in life are feeling comfortable with renting, and definitely seems to be the average age of the tenant is also increasing. So potentially that's something to do with it. And I'm not sure what happens in 2 years' time, in 3 years or 4 years, because we're so dictated by those deposits. And Andy mentioned about not too many 5% deposits being put together at the moment. And not to say I'm Mystic Meg, but I did say when these popped out that around the home counties to put 5% down, at the time the interest rates were 4%, they're currently around 2.7, 2.75. It's still a lot of mortgage for a first-time buyer, because it's not just getting on the ladder with the 5%, it's the mortgage chunk that you've got. And if you can put 10% down, it's drastically different. You know, we're talking 500 quid, 600 quid saving there per month. So I think we're impacted by that. And I think as a result, the tenant demand over the last couple of years has probably been dictated by the fact that you couldn't get 95% loan to values, 90% loan to values, especially last year. You know, you were lucky to get an 85% loan to value. If you had a 15% deposit, you were the bottom of the pecking order, really, which is mental. So it's going to be an interesting swing next year, I think. We just need a few more likes to get Ellen to sing, by the way. So before anyone's watching, let us know. Andrew, anything else from you, bud, that you want to? Karl, you all right, mate? As the electric is coming in tomorrow, you'll get there. Andrew, anything for yourself?
Not property related, but Karl has kindly sponsored the Burnham junior football team, so you've got Avocado all over those. So we're looking forward to going down there together and watching some junior football and banging the Avocado drum. But the kits look mega with the pink avocados on the front.
I've seen a picture. They do look awesome. There's a couple of different avocado partners really getting into the community, which is awesome. I know Will and Mike are doing doing loads of stuff with loads of primary schools across Sandhurst and Crowthorne. Obviously, the Burnham sponsorship there as well. Here we go. Look. For the record, language people, we have a power cut.
Live area updates.
Good job I went to him, isn't it? Good job I went to him first. And then we've got Matt Pulford as well over in Wokingham, who is also sponsoring too. We've got Jim on LinkedIn. Good. It means LinkedIn has streamed for the first time ever. Jim, you're always live. I watch some of yours as well. And thank you for saying hello. It's good to see you. Ellen, from yourself, anything to wrap up as we've just hit the 30-minute mark? Looks like you're going to be safe and not singing tonight.
Amazing. A slight side note for me, actually. I've just seen another like pop in. You never know. I'll wrap this up quickly. There are 12 houses that in Bracknell that have been on the market for over 4 months, and I'm trying to get in contact with these people. They're not on the market with us. On the market with various agents, and on the face of it, I cannot for the life of me work out why they haven't sold. So if there is some way of trying to get hold of these people, please contact me. Really want to have a chat and just help people move. That's what we're here for.
Absolutely. We don't like to plug ourselves on these, but if you are one of these people that are struggling to sell at the moment, you've just heard the conversation we have. I'd like to think we know what we're talking about. You know, we've got a fair bit of experience. We're going to be the guys and girls doing the viewings on your properties, not weekenders, not trainees. It's us doing it. So when the buyers are viewing and they want to know information about your property, we've already spent an hour or so with you. We know the ins and outs of your goals. We know the ins and outs of the property. We can deal with the objection handling, or we can just make a call with the buyer. It's not right for them and we don't waste anyone's time. Or if they've got detailed questions, potentially we can do things that other agents can't. And there is a statistic going around in the Avocado family at the moment that the average asking price being achieved in the UK is currently at 95.4%. For the Avocado group, it's 99.1%. So basically, if you're looking to sell and you want to get more money, you need to go pink. That is the rule. Newsflash, power's back. SL38, catch you all next time. Karl, it was emotional. We loved it. You got away with not singing. For everyone watching, thank you so much. Still like if you're watching and we're not live, still comment. And yeah, we'll see you next Thursday at 6 o'clock. Andrew, Ellen and Karl. It's a wrap.
Thank you very much.